The following program is sponsored by CBN.
Coming up.
I had anything I wanted.
He was 6'7".
I started to feel invincible.
And in the state pen, survival is number one.
But that wasn't going to be messed with.
This con tells why he joined the Aryan Brotherhood.
I liked the power that came with it.
And what happened after they kicked him out.
I remember it being black.
On today's 700 Club. Well, welcome to the 700 Club. The country's 4 top intelligence chiefs are making it clear our democracy is in the crosshairs. In a rare joint appearance, they accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of personally directing attacks against our election process and other critical infrastructure.
They also sent a stern warning to Russia's cyber hackers: stop or pay the price. CBN's national security correspondent Eric Rosales gives us a closer look.
Standing with the Trump administration power players, ranging from the director of the FBI to the national security advisor, Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats sounded the alarm. He said Russia is just a keyboard click away from a major election hack.
We continue to see a pervasive messaging campaign by Russia to try to weaken and divide the United States. These efforts are not exclusive to this election or future elections, but certainly cover issues relevant to the election.
In a rare show of united force, the national security leader stood in front of the White House press corps to blast Russia and talk about potential implications.
Any moment is just a moment before, the dial can be turned up one, much as we saw in 2016. Again, not in terms of affecting the vote count, but in terms of potential penetration of voter registration databases or something like that.
Our democracy itself is in the crosshairs.
They shared a laundry list of what we face, from attempts to suppress voting to illegal campaign funding to cyber attacks. The warning comes just days after Facebook shut down dozens of fake accounts, like those targeting hot-button social issues, part of a sophisticated campaign to influence Americans. Coats pointed straight at Russia, adding the orders often come from Vladimir Putin himself.
Russia has used numerous ways in which they want to influence through media, social media, through bots, through actors that they hire, through proxies, all of the above and potentially more.
Each brought up the importance of the government intelligence community partnering with social media and technology companies, providing them with classified briefings so that they can better monitor their platforms and protect our democracy. Eric Rosales, CBN News, Washington.
Well, the warning from our intelligence officials has prompted quick action from the U.S. Senate. John Jessup has more on that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Thanks, Gordon. Democrat and Republican senators are responding to the intelligence chief's warning, proposing new sanctions against Russia. The measure they're considering would target powerful Russian business leaders and those indicted for interfering in our elections. It could even target President Putin, requesting information about his personal holdings and net worth. South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham said the goal is to impose crushing sanctions against Putin's Russia until it stops meddling in our election process and carrying out cyber attacks on our infrastructure. Democrat Bob Menendez added it's the next step in tightening the screws on the Kremlin. While the president is beefing up his Middle East advisory team as he prepares to put out a Middle East peace plan. The Associated Press reports the National Security Council is asking agencies for volunteers to join the policy team that will support lead negotiators Jared Kushner and Jason Greenblatt. President Trump promised to deliver a plan for Israeli-Palestinian peace, but so far has not given any details. Well, a 2017 study found the average time for an ambulance to arrive at an emergency in the United States is 8 minutes. Imagine how many lives could be saved if that was cut to 3 minutes or less. One Jerusalem-based organization found a solution they believe will change the world.
This is what it's like to ride through the streets of Israel on an Ambu Cycle. It weaves through traffic where an ambulance cannot. CBN News got a first-hand look.
We're riding around with United Hatzalah volunteers here on the streets of Jerusalem, where they can respond to a medical emergency or an accident within 90 seconds. It's really the game changer in life-saving emergency medical care.
We think that the largest cause of preventable death in the West is waiting for an ambulance. And United Hatzalah addresses that by getting a volunteer, someone who's trained, equipped, notified, and in the immediate vicinity of the victim to that person within 90 seconds or in a larger geography, 3 minutes.
United Hatzalah, which means rescue, is the inspiration of Eli Beer.
People die every day waiting for help. My dream for United Hatzalah is make sure that no one will ever die from things that they could be saved. Growing up, I decided I want to become a doctor and save lives.
Bear shared that dream on a TED Med talk that went viral. He said as a young ambulance driver, he often arrived at an emergency too late to save a life and decided to change that.
Together with 15 of my friends, we were all EMTs. We decided, let's protect our neighborhood. So when something like that happens again, we will be there running to the scene a lot before the ambulance.
From 15 friends years ago, today United Hatzalah has 5,000 volunteers throughout Israel. Their ability to respond to an emergency in 3 minutes or less rests on 3 things: the Ambu Cycle, volunteers available at a moment's notice, and technology connecting them.
You know, Israelis are good in technology. Every one of us has on his phone, no matter what kind of phone, a GPS technology done by NowForce. And whenever a call comes in, the closest 5 volunteers get the call. And they actually get there really quick and navigated by a traffic navigator to get there and not waste time. And this is a great technology we use all over the country and reduce the response time.
There's another emergency that just went off right now. We're currently in United Hatzalah's National Command and Dispatch Center. And what's happening right behind me here is that volunteers from around the country in the 8 different regions that we broke the country down into are being dispatched to emergencies. We receive about 1,000 emergencies per day.
Then volunteers from each cross-section of Israeli society go into action. That's where the Ambu Cycle comes in.
Everything that's in an ambulance is in this Ambu Cycle.
Yeah. So this is like life-saving measures within the first couple of minutes of a crisis.
So I get to the call within 3 minutes or less. I arrive, I throw on my jacket, and I immediately start treating. Everything that the ambulance has, except the stretcher, is in this box right here. I have a defibrillator under the seat, and everything else is in this bag.
This life-saving equipment can often get to an emergency sooner than an ambulance. This real-life video shows an ambulance stuck in traffic and an Ambu Cycle weaving its way through. But they exist to complement rather than compete with the ambulance.
Basically, we're there to fill the gap. So until the ambulance arrives, in those first crucial, critical minutes, we have help is on scene. Help has arrived, we are stabilizing, and by the time the ambulance comes, he is ready for transport to the hospital. And getting there in 90 seconds is the game changer in EMS worldwide.
That time gap can mean life or death.
I can tell you every second counts, and if you wait 2 more seconds for someone who has no oxygen for more than 6 or 7 minutes, there's no chance of saving that person. And if you do save him, that person will have damage for the rest of their life and will need assistance. So by having thousands of volunteers, think about it, it's like Uber, everywhere.
The dream is to take it worldwide. Bear sees it as another way Israel wants to help beyond its borders.
This is a tikkun olam. This is a gift to the world. We are light over the nations in terms of many things, technology. No one realized that in medicine, fast response, Israel's the fastest in the world, and we could share this with everyone. Anyone who wants to learn from us, we're there for them.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, on the streets of Jerusalem.
Seeing Chris Mitchell on the back of an Ambu Cycle is priceless. In Gordon, Israel, the tiny nation of Israel, constantly creating and innovating new ideas all the time.
That's part of fulfillment of Scripture. You find in Isaiah, there to be a light to the nations for the salvation of the world. And whether it's the new technology coming out of Israel or this wonderful idea with United Hatzalah, hats off to Mark Gerson, Eli Beer for this wonderful idea. I hope it spreads around the world. Terry?
Well, coming up, they're a group that's bringing aid to Holocaust victims, the families of soldiers, and also helping Jews around the world return to their homeland. The woman behind the largest philanthropic organization in Israel joins us live, so don't go away.
Well, for the past 35 years, one organization has been working towards fulfilling its vision, seeing Christians and Jews working together and easing the suffering all over the world.
Since 1983, the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews has built bridges of cooperation around the world, along with broad support for the State of Israel. Whether it's rescuing persecuted Christians in the Middle East, getting help to elderly Jews in Russia, or providing needed medicine to Holocaust survivors in Israel, the fellowship, as it's known, is there, reaching the desperate, lonely, and forgotten. Today, Yael Eckstein, Rabbi Eckstein's daughter and global vice president of the fellowship, carries on the family tradition of helping Israel and Jews worldwide.
Well, Yael Eckstein joins us now, and welcome to the 700 Club. It's great to have you
so
with us.
much.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to be here, Gordon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Your father is a legend. He has pioneered this, and back in the early 1980s, I remember the start of it. What do you remember about the beginning?
The truth is, it's a funny question. I don't remember much because my father went out to work, and when he came home, he was simply Abba. And so we didn't really know what he was doing. We knew he was helping people. We knew that we had Christians at our Passover Seder, which was wonderful and exposed us to a whole nother world. But we didn't know what he was doing. We knew he was doing good things, but we couldn't really tell you what, because when he came home, he was simply Father, Abba.
Okay. Well, when did it dawn on you that this was a big deal?
The truth is, it was when I was already an adult, and I made Aliyah, moved to Israel, and I went out and I saw the bomb shelters and the food that was being delivered to elderly who didn't have any. I saw the orphans who were getting clothing, and I said, wow, this is huge. And I started speaking to some fellowship supporters, and God just spoke to me. Yael, this is truth. Bridging Jews and Christians together and seeing the heart of Christians that's just so pure and on fire for God. And from that fire for God comes this love for Israel and this desire to bring biblical prophecy to reality. And I just felt God speak to me. When my children dwell together is when prophecy will happen. We can't do it alone. And it was that moment that I said, I want to be part of this.
Tell us about the work of the fellowship. It seemed to have beginnings in Aliyah, and now it seems to be doing more on the humanitarian side.
So we still have a big focus on Aliyah. We have flights landing every single day in Israel. Yeah, from non-Western countries. So places where Jews are at risk, like Yemen, Morocco. We work in some places I can't even speak about, including the former Soviet Union, which obviously we can. And so we have flights landing every single day, and that's one of our flagship projects, the biblical prophecy of bringing the Jewish people home, scattered amongst all four corners of the earth, coming home to Israel's prophetic, especially from the biblical land of the north, the former Soviet Union. And so that's a big focus of ours, but we've also expanded to reach more needs. Nachamu, nachamu ami, comfort ye, my people, says the Lord. We've built over 5,500 bomb shelters. We're the largest supporters to different needs in the military and security across Israel, like drones, security drones for different cities, so that they could see if someone's trying to infiltrate before they get to the city, before there's a massacre. They're able to identify that. And also the basic needs. You know, we look at charity today. There's a lot of wonderful charities, like computers for high school students and scholarships, which is wonderful. But we look at the Bible and God tells us what tzedakah, what charity is. And that's to feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, to
Isaiah
shelter.
58.
Exactly. And that's really where we're led. So we help 20,000 elderly every month with food. We have over 4,000 volunteers across Israel where we bring them food, we bring them comfort, and we use those volunteers to be the voice of millions of Christians across the world who we are their voice. In Israel, we go and we say, this is from Christians who love you. And it's just the greatest honor from the Lord that he's using us in such huge ways.
Well, there's something that you're doing that I think most people don't know, and that you're actually helping persecuted Christians in the Middle East.
Correct.
What is that?
Well, up until around a year ago, we were helping mostly the Jewish communities with security outside of Israel and inside of Israel. And then we realized the Christian community has been standing with the Jewish people during their time of need. When the Soviet Union fell and Jews had to get out, it was the Christian community, it was your father who stood behind my father, exactly, together hand in hand to say, Jews and Christians are going to make this happen, to bring them home to Israel. And it worked. God blessed it. And today we're seeing Christians being persecuted and no one doing anything about it. maybe some prayers, but we believe prayer is the weapon. I call it the weapon of mass destruction. We could change anything with prayer, but we have to act with it. We have to give feet to that prayer. And so many people are praying for the persecuted Christians right now, communities being wiped out completely. For the first time in 2,000 years since they've settled there, they're being wiped out. It's a genocide. And so the fellowship said, we can't sit back and watch this happen. The Jewish community has to be there for the Christian community as well. And so now we're helping Christians who have actually made it to Jordan. It's very difficult inside Syria or Iraq to help them because the money all gets funneled through the terrorists. And so there are those Christians who have escaped and made it to Jordan. And in Jordan, they don't have citizenship, and so they're not allowed to work, and they also don't get any money from the government. So they're completely poor and have no money for food and no help, but they're allowed to live there without being persecuted. And so the fellowship is going in, and we're giving them their basic needs, like we're giving to Jews around the world, food, medicine, and housing. And then we're also being an advocate for them to get them to a permanent location where they could actually start their lives, where they could work and
That's got to be very difficult because in that process, don't they have to qualify within the UN for refugee status, and then the whole controversy over refugees coming out of the Middle East now? How difficult is it to get them out?
That's exactly correct. It's not easy, but we believe that these persecuted Christians should get priority when you talk about refugee status. They have been persecuted for their faith. We know that they're not terrorists, Gordon. There are some people that come and their uncle might have been a terrorist, and you have to do a lot of background information, background checks. Are they terrorists? Are they not? These Christians have nothing to do with terrorism. They're victims of terrorism, that we believe they should be given priority refugee status and taken out immediately. And that's just one of the areas of persecuted Christians that we help in. The Coptic Christians in Egypt, for example, we're there helping the Coptic Christians in Egypt after their church was bombed and their children killed when they were on a school bus on the way to a camp. We are there to also provide them with food, medicine, and shelter.
Okay. Last time I was with your father, he was talking about Korea, and the fellowship has gone worldwide, and it's amazing how he's bringing people from Asia, from Latin America, from Europe, North America. It's incredible. So I've got to ask you, what's it like taking over from a famous father?
Well, sometimes I feel like a midget sitting on the shoulders of a giant, you know? I try to learn everything I can from him. Everything he says, I just respect and look at with awe and admiration. And I think what he appreciates also is that I have a different perspective for the next generation specifically, different tools to reach out to people who might not have otherwise heard about our mission, different ways of doing things. And so it's not, I wouldn't say that I'm taking over, because that kind of scares me, but that we're working together to really bring the fellowship to new places. And I think we both really feel like this was a blessing from the Lord, that we both have this, that my father could see the vision for the future and who's taking it over, and he stands behind me, obviously, and just appreciates it so much, even though in the beginning he wouldn't give me a job with the fellowship. He wouldn't. I went to him when I saw what was happening in Israel, and I said, Abba, I want to be part of this. And he said, yeah, I'll go to law school. He said, I've had 35 years without any nepotism, without any accusations of any sort of wrongdoings. If you come in, people are going to say it's just because you're my daughter and so I can't do that. You're smart, go be a lawyer. And I went and I actually called the head of our Chicago office, George, and I said, George, do you have anything I could do? Because I would need to be part of this. And I kind of worked my way up, you know, without my father being involved, until one day he said, yeah, this is from the Lord, and he embraced it full on.
What convinced him?
I think it was that he really saw that I had a genuine heart for the mission, that I had a genuine love for this vision of Jews and Christians coming together, that it wasn't just a job and it wasn't just helping people, but that's not what the fellowship does. The fellowship is a bridge building organization. And once he saw that I had this bridge building calling in my heart, and that our supporters and followers, they liked me and they opened up their arms to me, and I feel so appreciative for that, to the point that one day, I think it was one time when my father called one of our major donors, and he said, oh, hi, this is Rabbi Eckstein calling from Israel. And he said, Rabbi Eckstein, you're Yael's father. And he said, that was the day that I realized this was destined from God.
Yeah. Well, I was the other side. I became a lawyer, and I went that route for 10 years, and then God had to intervene. So, well, it's good having you. It's good meeting you. And how can people get involved with the fellowship?
Well, there are lots of different ways. First, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. We know that that's the foundation of all of this. And you could join at www.ifcj.org. That's ifcj.org, where you could learn about the feasts and the latest news on Israel and how we could be part of biblical prophecy together. And you can follow me on Facebook, where I document my daily life, at Yael Eckstein on Facebook. So those are two good avenues.
Well, there's another way. You can also go to cbnnews.com, and we'll get you links to all of that. And it's great having you.
Thank you so much, Gordon.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Terry, over to you.
Well, up next, a meth maker who rose through the ranks of a prison gang and became the chapter president of the Aryan Brotherhood.
I liked the power that came with it. I lived a comfortable life in prison. You know, I had anything I wanted.
But that comfortable life came to an end courtesy of 17 stab wounds from those who were supposed to protect him. This former inmate shares his story when we come back.
Kevin Smith is built like an NFL lineman. During his first prison stint, he relied on his size for protection. And when he was sent back to jail, though, Kevin sought help from the Aryan Brotherhood. After getting stabbed by his own gang 17 times, well, Kevin knew he needed someone on the outside to keep him safe.
I started to feel invincible, you know, like I could take on the world.
Kevin Smith was never one to walk away from a fight. At 18, he was 6'7", a coke addict, a dealer, and sitting in jail awaiting sentencing. It was then Kevin met two Christian volunteers who led him to a decision to follow Jesus Christ.
I wanted to know who God was. I wanted to know all about him.
But heading into a 4-year sentence in the state pen, Kevin feared his faith would make him look weak and vulnerable.
I thought, I can't let this happen. This isn't the place for it. Survival was number one. God was secondary. I was Kevin Smith. I wasn't going to be messed with.
Again, Kevin used his size to intimidate, control, and traffic drugs. But when he was released, he was ready for a new start without God.
God takes a back seat. Honestly, what I thought was that later. I'll do it later. I told myself, you know, I'm gonna walk the straight and narrow. I don't want to come back to prison. I felt like I knew the steps to take to do that, to find a good woman, settle down, live a normal life.
He was working in a bar when he met Angie, a Christian who somehow saw a softer side of Kevin.
He was like this larger-than-life guy, and I was his sidekick.
She's always so happy and so positive. I mean, she was perfect in my eyes, you know.
The two married and things were going well. They opened a towing company and had a baby girl. But 3 years into the marriage, the business was struggling, and they were in debt with a new home, cars, and hospital bills.
The debt world was crashing in on us, you know, and I didn't like that feeling.
Desperate for a quick fix, Kevin decided to do what had always worked before, making and selling meth.
It was a horrible idea. And we're talking about me, and I thought I was smarter than everybody else.
It was scary. It was like he was another person. There was just no reasoning. It was his way, and that was it.
Before long, he was also using and seeing another woman. Then one morning, just 2 weeks before Angie announced she was pregnant, Kevin walked out on her and their 1-year-old daughter and moved in with his girlfriend.
It felt like the heart was literally being ripped out of my chest. Watching him make this new life with this other person, and it was horrible. It was horrific.
I was so stupid and selfish.
Then, in 2006, Kevin was arrested for dealing meth and sentenced to a minimum of 15 years. For protection, he joined the Aryan Brotherhood and rose quickly through the ranks to become chapter president.
I liked the power that came with it. I lived a comfortable life in prison. You know, I had anything I wanted.
Anything except a clear conscience. By then, Angie had divorced him, and he knew it was his fault.
I basically drug her through hell. I felt horrible about that, and I wanted to make it right.
I kept praying for him because, again, he was the kid's father. I felt like they needed to know who their dad was, and bottom line, he needed the Lord. I mean, he needed the prayer.
In 2009, Kevin would need those prayers even more. He was attacked and stabbed 17 times by the Brotherhood when he refused to kill a child molester. After slipping into a coma, he encountered a power that brought him to his knees.
I remember it being black. There was something in there, in that blackness, that meant me great harm. And I remember being terrified of it. And I remember, cowering down. But then off in a distance, I see this light. Whatever's in this darkness is afraid of the light. And as the light gets closer and closer, I can see that it's Angie. She picks my head up. She starts, stroking my hair and telling me that everything's going to be okay.
Kevin came out of the coma, but the vision continued to haunt him. It wasn't until he received a letter from Angie that it all made sense.
She had been praying. She said, I'm talking about down on my face, fervently praying for you. Then a light clicked, She prayed, and it happened. Here's God showing up. My lowest point, God shows up.
It was then Kevin began to understand that love he felt when he was an 18-year-old sitting in a jail cell.
Love was just a word to me. It wasn't an action. It wasn't a feeling. It was just a word. And it wasn't until I really wrapped my head around what Jesus did on the cross, what love meant, what love was all about. And that was a pivotal point in my life. I remember there being a softening in me.
When Angie came for a visit, she saw the change in him immediately.
He was loving and sweet and kind, and he kept saying, I'm sorry, and I never meant for things to happen like this. It's just, how can someone change that drastically?
Because of his physical health and change of character, Kevin was released to home confinement with his mother in 2011. Soon after, he and Angie remarried. Then in December 2012, he received early parole and returned home. Now the man with a heart for God will share his heart with anyone who will listen.
I really, really love that he can minister to other people through his experiences, and that he's soft now. He didn't used to be soft like that, His exterior and his interior have both softened. There's no other explanation for this than it's God.
God has taken me, this guy that caused horrible things to happen to people, he's using it for the good.
God can take you, whatever it is you've done, he can take you and use it all for good. He can turn around everything. What the enemy meant for good, for bad, what the enemy meant to harm you, God can turn it around for good. All you have to do is surrender to him. For Kevin, it took a near-death experience where here he is stabbed 17 times, he's in a coma, he's dying, and he has an encounter, and he realizes that there's some evil there, and it's waiting for him. And then this light comes, and he puts it together. It was because somebody prayed. There was an intervention in his life, supernaturally. And he put it all together and says, why am I resisting this? Why wouldn't I take this? It's a free gift. It's a free offer where God himself will become your salvation. God himself will become your righteousness. You can trade all your sin. Isaiah says it so clearly. Come, let us reason together. Though your sins be as scarlet, yet they will be white as snow. His mercy endures forever. It's new every single morning. All you have to do is take it. If this is for you, if this is what you want, just bow your head with me. Let's pray a very simple prayer and let God do all the rest. What he did for Kevin, he will do for you if you just ask him. So let's pray. Jesus, that's right, say his name. Say it out loud, Jesus. His name means salvation. Jesus, I come to you and I ask that you would be my salvation, that you would be my righteousness, that I would trade all my sin, all the things that I've done wrong for you. So Jesus, come into my heart, make me new again, give me the joy of salvation. Let me feel your presence. Let me understand your love. And Jesus, if you do this, I want to follow you all the days of my life. Hear my prayer, for I pray it in your name. Father, for those who just prayed, I ask for a baptism in your love. Fill them to overflowing with joy, knowing that their prayer has been heard and has been answered today. Do it, for we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. If you prayed with me, I've got something free for you. It's a packet called A New Day. And there's a CD teaching. What do you do now? How do you live the Christian life? There's also a booklet filled with Bible verses. What do Christians believe? How do you live the Christian life? It's all free. All you have to do is make a phone call. 1-800-700-7000. Terry, over to you.
Still ahead, a message for the #MeToo era. One psychologist speaks from experience about escaping an abusive relationship. So don't go away.
And welcome back to the 700 Club. Firefighters are working nonstop to put out the deadly car wildfire raging in Northern California. Right now, it's responsible for burning down more than 1,000 homes in the Redding area. As the flames rage, members of the faith community are stepping in to help. Bethel Church, which is located in Redding, has been set up as a distribution center. The humanitarian organization Mercy Chefs is on site preparing restaurant-quality meals for victims, volunteers, and first responders. CBN News interviewed the founder and president of Mercy Chefs, Gary LeBlanc, by Skype.
Well, we have volunteers from the church that are working with our chefs today. We have chefs from Chicago and just outside of D.C. We have one from Houston and one from Oklahoma here with us today. So they're working with the teams here, and we're working very hard. We're putting out about 2,000 meals a day.
Mercy Chefs has the goal of feeding the body and the soul. LeBlanc says they come with a message that can satisfy people for eternity, the gospel of Jesus Christ. Operation Blessing is helping provide clean water to a small mountainside village in Honduras. Villagers frequently fall ill because they get sick from getting water from unsanitary sources. Operation Blessing was able to locate a better source higher up in the mountain. Teams constructed a durable network of piping to deliver that water down into a brand new massive water reservoir. Teams also installed faucets into every single home in that village. You can learn more about what Operation Blessing is doing by going to its website, ob.org. Gordon and Terry are back with more of today's 700 Club coming up right after this.
Nearly 1 out of every 4 women in America has been the victim of domestic violence. It's an epidemic that can happen to anyone, regardless of race, education, religion, or status. Dr. Ramona Probasco knows these facts by heart because she was once a victim herself.
Ramona Probasco married Ben at the age of 19. Their honeymoon phase was short-lived, and the starry-eyed teen soon became the black-eyed wife. In her book, Healing Well and Living Free from an Abusive Relationship, Dr. Ramona shares how she found true healing after 20 years of violence.
As you walk out these practical, not easy, but practical steps, you're becoming your strongest self.
And offers contagious hope and concrete steps to getting through and out of an abusive situation.
Dr. Ramona Probasco is here with us now, and we thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me, Terry.
You were only 19 when you married.
Yes.
Did you have any clues or signs before you married that there was an issue?
There were indicators that problems were looming, but I didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
You know, the red flags that I now teach others about, and I blew right past them. So,
well, hindsight's always 20/22.
Yes.
So, from a grace standpoint, I think you can apply that to almost anything. When you had problems in the marriage, you wound up staying in the relationship for 20 years. Mm-hmm. What were some of the reasons that you, and that's not just you, that's pretty common in relationships. Why?
Well, you know, when most people say I do, they don't mean I don't.
Yeah.
And when I got married forever. Mm-hmm. And I really believed it was going to be my happily ever after.
Yeah.
And the physical violence started 3 years into the marriage. But my confusion about faith and God and what God's perspective is on matters like this, I really had to address a lot of faulty thinking that I had. And I really believed that if I prayed more, I believed more, you know, even one particular story, I got up in the middle of the night because I had read how Samuel anointed Saul with oil, and I thought, there's something too, and this anointing with oil, right? And so when Ben was sleeping, I got up in the middle of the night and I went to our kitchen pantry and I got the oil down and I just dabbed a little bit on my finger and I went back into our room and I put a little cross on his shoulder. And I prayed fervently. I was like, Lord, I want a miracle. I want this marriage to be saved. I want this to stop in my life and in his life. And what I realized that the miracle that I was praying for was actually going to take place in me.
Yeah. That's so hard to grab hold of when you're in the middle of that situation, I think. In your book, Healing Well and Living Free from an Abusive Relationship, you say that one of the things that's so important for a victim is to call it what it is. Right. And we don't do that.
That's right. What I say, until we call it what it is, we're going to call it what it's not.
Yes.
And basically what I mean by that is often people will describe abuse as a marital problem or normal couple conflict, or he or she just is, you know, has a bad temper. Yeah. And it's not about that. We all get angry, we all don't abuse.
You also say, I thought this was so interesting, that actually abusive behavior that is violent or even aggressive in its tone isn't anger.
Right, exactly, because, I mean, anger, you're going to be seeing anger often on the person's countenance or in their behavior, but it's not about anger. Abuse is about a mindset, primarily lack of empathy and entitlement is what drives this mindset. Again, because we all get angry, but we don't abuse. But abuse is a choice.
Mm-hmm. You say also that there are 3 stages that both people go through, the abuser and the victim. Talk about that a little.
Well, I think what you're referring to is my subtitle, From Victim to Survivor to Overcomer. And that's in reference to the person who's on the recipient end of the abuse. And I use the example of a burning house. And the metaphor I like to use is a person is in a burning house. A victim will see the flames, feel the heat, smell the smoke, but they'll stay in the house. A survivor will be in that same house, and they will see the flames, feel the heat, smell the smoke, but they'll leave. An overcomer in that same house will see the flames, feel the heat, smell the smoke, but they'll leave. But after they leave, they'll build a new house, and they'll invite others to come in. and enjoy it.
So what was the breaking point for you, Ramona? What was the thing that made you say, I can't do this anymore?
Right. Well, in the introduction of my book, I entitled it Something Broke Inside Me, and it was the incident when Ben attacked me. We were getting ready for an event that we were going to speak at, and he was running behind, which was typical, and I was getting nervous. And I happened to be sitting on the toilet, and he came up and he grabbed my head, and he drove his thumbs into my eye sockets. And at that moment, something snapped inside. And a couple days later, he approached me, and he wanted to make up, and I just said, I can't. And he said, why not? I said, I just can't come back this time. I was referring to, at that point, emotionally speaking. And he said, why? And I said, because something broke inside me. And that's when I realized that I could no longer, the fight to try to save the marriage, to help him change, was over.
There's an aftermath when you make the decision to leave, even. It's not all of a sudden there's great relief and joy.
That's right.
Talk a little about that process.
That's right. There's grief because it's a loss. Not all, we experience exactly. I describe divorce as a death with no body to bury and no one brings covered dish over. It's a lonely journey for many. And so you're going to walk through grief, a person who's come through this type of trauma, and you need to heal from grief.
And it takes time.
It takes time, but doing something intentional with that time, not just allowing time to pass. Time passing doesn't heal us. Doing something intentional to heal well will heal us.
One of the intentional things that you talk about that's so key in your book is forgiveness.
Yes.
Because to be set free, you really have to engage in that process, don't you?
You do. I believe to heal well, that forgiveness is an essential part of that. However, I also know that the Holy Spirit's been doing his job for a long, long time. And so it's not up to me to tell someone you must forgive or you should forgive. I believe it's a personal decision. But if we wait to forgive, most of us will never feel like it.
So again, intentional.
It's right. It's an act of our will.
Yeah.
When I decided that night, I can clearly remember when I decided to forgive Ben, it was, like I said, an act of my will, but it took me years to work through it. And frankly, the most difficult person to forgive was myself.
Yeah. And that's probably the last person you forgive.
It was the last person, yes.
Yes. Well, so much wonderful and rich information. This is a huge problem in our culture.
It is.
A really huge problem. Dr. Ramona Probasco, we thank you for sharing your story. For more, get her book. It's called Healing Well and Living Free from an Abusive Relationship. It's in stores nationwide. And whether you are having this experience in your own life or you know someone who is, get help. Call our prayer center. Our number's toll free. It's 1-800-700-7000. And get the book. It's full of rich information. Thank you, Ramona.
Thank you for
having me. So good to have you here.
I appreciate it.
Well, coming up, we're going to be answering your email questions, so don't go away. We'll be back. Well, we have had an overwhelming response to our Build a Better Gut series, and you can still order a copy of this free booklet. It's yours. Just call 1-800-700-7000, or you can log on to cbn.com and download the free booklet there. Plus, you can stream the entire 4-part Build a Better Gut series and get some bonus information all at cbn.com. But amazing response, and we're so glad because we did this for you. So I want you to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Are you building a better gut?
Hope so. I'd like to build less of a gut, but...
You and me both. Probiotics is the new rage. Well, little Raul has a bright future in front of him, but not long ago, he was going blind, and his parents couldn't do anything to stop it.
Raul's parents were concerned when they noticed he had problems with his right eye.
We saw a white color patch in his eye when he was a baby. As he got older, the white patch grew bigger.
He would always cover his eye because it hurt him so much. Sunlight also irritated it and made it difficult for him to walk outside. So we were scared that he wouldn't be able to see out of that eye.
But then, a CBN medical camp visited their village.
They told us that our son had a cataract. Then they said that they would give him a free surgery.
At the hospital, the doctor explained that Raul was close to losing vision in his right eye permanently.
He has central cataract. That means the surgery should be performed as soon as possible.
Raul's father was worried about the outcome of the surgery, but he knew it was the best chance to save his son's sight.
The cataract was removed and a very good quality intraocular lens has been put. This is a world-class lens.
The next day, the bandage was removed. Raul could see clearly.
I'm extremely happy that my boy's operation went well and his eye is perfectly fine.
Now he plays a lot outside without any discomfort, and he really likes to read and write. He's so happy. It is such a remarkable change.
I know that when he grows up, he will be able to study well, get a good job, and have a bright future.
If you're a member of the 700 Club, thank you. You're part of giving that wonderful child their sight. If you're not a member, I invite you to join with us. How much is it? It's just $20 a month. That breaks out to 65 cents a day. And you're joining with tens of thousands of people that say, yes, let's make a difference in the world. Let's help people in need. Let's broadcast the gospel around the world. You're a part of all of it when you join with us. So call us, 1-800-700-7000. When you call and join, I've got something for you. I want you to have it. It's a wonderful DVD teaching from my father on angels, their power, their purpose. If you have questions about angels, what are their assignments for us from God, all you have to do is call and join and say, yes, I want to be a part of it. 1-800-700-7000. Well, we've got some time for some email questions, and you've got the first one.
I do. This is Carla Gordon, who says, I have a family member who has a child who's facing life in a wheelchair. I am on my face before God for him. Now the rage and disappointment is settling into his heart. It's scary. I beg God for a miracle. How do I keep all of us from getting discouraged?
Carla, that's a question for the ages. It's one of those, it's as old as the book of Job. Why do bad things happen to good people? You can stare at that question for a long time, and you can have a variety of answers to it. But when someone you love is in a wheelchair, what do you do with that? And where do you go with that? I believe in miracles. I've seen miracles. I've seen people get out of wheelchairs and walk, people that the doctors had given up on hope. I've seen it with my own eyes. At the same time, I too have a family member who's in a wheelchair. And we're praying, we're believing, but they're still in that wheelchair. What do you do with that? And where do you go with those emotions? I would encourage you, and I would encourage this wonderful child, go ahead and grieve it. Don't push those emotions away. Grieve the loss. Go through those stages. But realize there is a hope, and there is a future, and there will be a day, whether it's on earth or in heaven, where you will walk again. And let that hope encourage you. That's where you find it. You look to Jesus. He is the author and finisher of your faith. He is also your hope. And there is wonderful hope in the resurrection.
Okay, this is Samantha, who says, I lost someone that I loved, and it seems like it wasn't their time to go. Why would God take someone earlier than expected?
Samantha, you may be blaming God for something he didn't do. When people are taken earlier than expected. Here's something from the Bible. You look at Uriah. Uriah doesn't get much, you don't hear too many sermons about Uriah. Uriah was the husband of Bathsheba. A lot of talk about David and Bathsheba, not much about Uriah. Uriah was killed in battle intentionally by David. He ordered his generals to put Uriah in the front and then withdraw, knowing that he would be killed. Now here's the question, did God intend that? I think the answer is clearly no, and clearly no from what the prophet Nathan said to David. So deaths happen that aren't God's fault. You look at free will, how does free will reign? That seems to be the governing principle, and with that free will, lots of things can happen, from murder to accidents, untimely death. So I would encourage you, don't blame God for that. Blame the accident, blame something untimely, blame the disease, and then hope for the resurrection. Here's words from Nehemiah for you. Do not sorrow, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. For Terry, for me, for all of us here, God bless you. We'll see you again next week.